Hello, welcome to Bookcase program, my first program on ASEAN TV about the world of books, book reviews, author interviews. And today we are very fortunate to have Kun Sutichayun, the editor-in-chief of the Nation newspaper in Bangkok. And interestingly, he also the editor of the Thai translation of the autobiography of Steve Jobs, which is out now.
Yeah, it is out. It has been out
bookstores.
for a few months in Thailand in English,
Right.
but the Thai version has been on sale for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and
Right.
it's now hit the bestseller list, #1.
Yes, I know that's the English version is on the New York Times bestseller list,
It's
and
still
the
there?
Thai version as well in the local bestselling
Yes.
list anyway.
Is this book still New York Times bestseller?
Yes,
After
yes, for many
at
weeks.
least 2 months
Yes,
now?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's very well received anyway.
It is. It is.
Yeah, very well received. But first of all, let me begin by asking you this. I know that you've been following what happened to Steve Jobs for quite a while. And what was your impression about Steve Jobs, the man himself, before this book was released?
Well, before reading the book,
Yeah.
I assumed that Steve Jobs was, the CEO of Apple. He must be a very good businessman. He must be a very creative boss, nice guy,
Right.
and ready to listen to people who have creative ideas. So the impression was very positive. Someone who has done a lot of good things for the IT world, the digital world, helped me, with iPhone, iPad to do my daily editorial work in a different way, totally independent. I can be anywhere. In fact, it is incredible that I could write my daily column on this little iPhone machine.
Right.
I used to have to carry around at least a notebook. Before that, long time ago, even before you were born, I started by typing
Yeah.
my column. One letter each every time.
Right.
In fact, one character
Yeah.
every time. But now with iPhone and iPad, I can do most of my work without having to be in the office, without
Right.
having to be on the desk or with anyone else. So I consider him revolutionary even before I read the book.
Right. Very positive attitude.
Yes.
Right. But since you are the editor of this book, and how let me ask you this way: your impression has changed after you read this book?
In a way, yes. That I didn't know he was such a bad guy. In a way, stubborn, selfish,
Right.
egoistic,
Right.
crazy. And if you read the book now, you'd understand why he's crazy and why he thinks that craziness is not a sin.
Right.
It's right in the front of the book. It says, the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do.
Right.
So, he is not afraid of being crazy, of being called crazy.
Right.
So I think in many ways, he represents the characters of more than just one person.
Right.
On the
right.
one side, he is very nice, charming, creative,
Yeah.
positive. On the other side, is very dictatorial, very arrogant,
Right.
very selfish.
Yeah.
And the two set of characters put together in one person makes a very dynamic personality.
Right. He's such a man of contrast.
Yes.
Yeah, full of self-contradictions.
Yes.
In this, and the author of this book, Walter Isaacson, he's the chairman of CNN, and he described Steve Jobs this way: Steve Jobs is not smart, but he's a genius. You agree with that?
Yeah, he's a genius, definitely. But I don't think you can say he's not smart. He's damn smart. Otherwise, he cannot be a genius.
Right.
But he is, I would say in one word, he's a determined man. Meaning that if he wants to achieve something, he will do everything possible to achieve
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Whatever obstacles, whatever problems other people give him, he will not give up.
Right.
And he will not be deterred by suggestions that he
Right.
may be doing something that is totally crazy. He will say, it's okay, we have to be crazy. And I don't have to listen to any criticism.
Right. Right.
So
right.
he is the guy who said that I do not need market research to come up with any new product. Because what do the customers know? They don't know anything. They don't know what they want until and unless you give it to them and say,
Right.
this is what you want.
Yeah.
So he says, having market research is just stupid. It doesn't work that way.
Right,
He
right.
said, if you ask Henry Ford,
Yeah.
or if Henry Ford had conducted a market survey of people, what they wanted at the time,
Right.
when he was trying to create the first
Yeah.
motor car,
Yeah.
if Henry Ford had asked the public what they wanted, he said the best answer would be a quicker horse, a horse that could run faster.
Right.
Who would think that you could produce a motor car? So, in Steve Jobs' opinion, you do what you think is the best for consumer, and he or she will take it if it's good enough.
Yeah.
Today, we're introducing 3 revolutionary products of this class. The first one is a widescreen iPod with touch controls. The second is a revolutionary mobile phone. And the third is a breakthrough internet communications device. So,
Does that mean Steve Jobs didn't care about the market demand? He didn't listen to market demand or something?
Oh, he cares a lot about the market, but he does not believe that the market knows what it wants. You see?
Right.
So he says that I will tell the market what it wants
Yeah.
if I can produce something that the market did not expect but would grab at it once
Right.
it sees the benefit, it
Yeah.
sees how easy it can be used, it sees how it meets the demand, the needs of the average consumer.
Yeah, that sounds like he's the man is responsible for creating marketing trends, not following.
Right. I think he wants to create, he wants to lead rather than follow.
Right, right, right.
And if you read this book is a very thick book.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed reading. I think most people who read this book will say it's thick, but it's very interesting.
Right.
571 pages of
That's right.
content.
Yeah.
The rest, about 40, 50 pages are sources, index, and everything else.
Right,
But
right.
I'm very interested in seeing that it says that this is the exclusive biography written with his full cooperation. His meaning Steve
That's
Jobs.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Full cooperation is just one part of the story.
Right.
It means that Isaacson got to interview him more than 40 times
Right.
in 2 years. But the rest, meaning that the other part of the book, Isaacson also interviewed a lot of other people,
Right.
some who loved him, admired him, and some who hated him.
Yeah.
That's why the book reflects the total personality of Steve
Right.
Jobs.
But this is interesting because it says that this book is an authorized autobiography.
Well, he didn't say authorized. He just said full cooperation,
Full
from
cooperation.
Steve Jobs. Meaning that if Steve Jobs had said, I want to censor whatever you write before publishing, I don't
Right.
think Isaacson would agree with it.
Yeah.
Don't forget that in the foreword, Isaacson disclosed that it was Steve Jobs who called him, asked him to write
Yep,
his biography,
yep,
not
that's
the other
right.
way around.
Right, right.
Normally, a writer would go and beg Steve
Yeah.
Jobs, say, "Oh, can I get your permission to write about your life?"
Yeah.
And he would say no because
Yeah.
he does not like the press. He
Yeah.
does not like journalists at all. But in this particular case, I think he was dying.
Yeah.
He knew that he didn't have long to live.
Right.
He decided that he wanted his story to be told. And he called Isaacson, who was famous then
right.
because he had written biographies of Einstein, of Benjamin Franklin.
That's right.
Henry Kissinger.
Yeah.
So Steve Jobs wanted Isaacson to write his biography.
Right, right.
And I think one of the main conditions of Isaacson is that, yeah, I would do it. In fact, he said in this foreword that when I first met Steve Jobs to discuss this, I told him, no, you're too young, you know. You still have a long way to go. I don't think we need to talk about your biography now. Maybe 10, 15 years after this, maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs and kept on calling him.
Right.
Until he decided that, Isaacson decided that, okay, I will do it, because he then knew that Steve Jobs was having cancer.
Right, right. You have given both sides of the story, you know, covered by Isaacson, you know, the positive and negative side. Do you think this book is quite a fair study of the character?
Yes, I think it's quite thorough in the sense that it reflects both the side that Steve Jobs want to be portrayed and also the side that I don't think Steve Jobs want to be written about, but that's the rule of the game, meaning that Isaacson would have the freedom to interview other people so that the other side of Steve Jobs would also be written about in the same book. And the wife, his wife, Steve Jobs' wife, told Isaacson that you go ahead and interview all those people because some of them had great stories about Steve Jobs that he personally may not like.
Right.
So, you know, so we get a very good, you know, rounded history, personality of Steve Jobs, especially the bad side. When he mistreated his friends, when he betrayed his colleagues, even when he made a woman, his first girlfriend, pregnant.
23, right?
23. Same age that his father gave him up for adoption.
All right.
Exactly the same age.
Right.
And Steve Jobs made that girl pregnant and refused to accept it in the beginning. They had to go to court. They have to do a DNA test before Steve Jobs would agree to say, okay, Lisa is my daughter. So this is the negative side, the dark side of Steve Jobs.
Were you shocked when you come across these descriptions in the book?
I was surprised. I was surprised that such a responsible person, such a senior executive, you know, would do such things, would be so irresponsible in his personal life. And, you know,
quite messy.
I mean, messy. His personal life is quite messy. His car doesn't have the number plate, you know, registration plate. He parks in the a place where he's not supposed to park, and he does not care about other people's feelings. He can tell his subordinates, go to hell, or if you present something to him which he doesn't like, he will just throw it away in front of you. There was no word of encouragement. So I don't think whether you want to be working for him if he was still alive. But I wouldn't. But then I keep thinking that why would people work for him if he's such a bad boss?
Is there any particular reason why is that?
I was trying to imagine why. If I were working for him, why would I tolerate him? And then you see the event when he introduces, when he launched iPhone and iPad and all this. And you see the passion. And you see the reception from the people, the audience.
But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad. So,
and the pride that you feel, you could feel it. It's so palpable that you can feel the pride that Steve Jobs can deliver to the public. That all your anger, all your frustration working for Steve Jobs throughout the process would just disappear once you are there for the launch and you think, isn't it great? This is the greatest achievement that we could ever expect, and the whole world is waiting for that product
Right.
of which you are a part.
Right.
You
right.
see?
Right.
So I think there are reasons. There were reasons why people would still work for Steve Jobs, and at the end were still proud.
Still proud at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite unusual, you know. It must take a lot of stamina.
Well, because
and
I think
patience.
Yeah, and I think because Steve Jobs could be very charming when he wants to be charming.
Oh yeah. Right. Right.
When he wanted to court John Scully from Pepsi Coke in the book,
Yeah.
he did everything possible. And someone told me, the translators told me that it's just like when you're, courting a woman. He was so persistent. He kept calling him.
Yep.
He kept asking him out for dinner and lunch and trying to convince him that he should leave Pepsi Coke to work for him.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And towards the end, John Scully, after several months of courting, persuasion, flirting, he called Scully once and said, let's go for a walk. So they went for a walk.
Yeah.
And then Scully's trying to find a reason why he would not take the job.
Right.
So at the end of the walk, John Scully turned to him, to Steve Jobs, and said, thank you for everything. And I understand everything else. Well, let me tell you that I've made up my mind. And that is that I would help you. I would advise you.
Right.
But I would not leave Pepsi.
Yeah.
I would still work there as CEO. So please
Right.
understand.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs, someone who cannot take this no for an answer, kept quiet for a while, turned to John Scully and made that famous sentence.
All right.
Do you want to continue to sell sugared water, or do you want to join me to change the world? That one sentence changed John Scully's
powerful,
mind.
yeah.
Very powerful. So
Very powerful.
when he wanted to be charming, when he wanted to be nice, when he wanted to be persuasive, he was the best.
Right.
When he wanted to be nasty, when he wanted to be bullying people, he was the worst.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But you know, Kun Suthishai, many geniuses have this quality, you know, very messy private life, you know, marrying one girl and then after a while broke up with a girl and find a new one. Is he very typical of a genius?
I don't know.
We have seen.
I don't know why geniuses have to have messy lives, but some of them did have messy lives.
Yeah.
But I think once you are so passionate about something, when your mind is so focused on something, the rest of your life becomes meaningless.
Right.
You don't care about the rest because you just concentrate on one thing.
Right.
So you will be careless about the daily routine, the activities, and the feelings of other people. You care only about what you feel because you want to get this thing done, achieved. So I think that is the reason. And it doesn't have to be bad. You know, some they call mad scientists, you know, the crazy scientists are not bad in the moral sense.
Right.
They might be forgetful. They might dress very shoddily, but they do not make moral mistakes like in this case.
Right.
In Steve Jobs' case, maybe you could call it immoral in a sense, but it's not that bad, isn't it?
Right.
He didn't kill people. He didn't. He didn't. Well, he did smoke marijuana. He did smoke coke for a while when he was young, but he didn't murder people or he didn't do anything really immoral. He was just irresponsible, and there must be a line between irresponsibility and immorality. I would say, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe. This is my last question, Kun Suthishai. You think what can this book tell us about the modern man in the digital age? Being a modern man in digital age.
Yes, I've told a lot of people that this book alone can make 10 movies because there's so many sides to the story.
Right.
And I think there are the good sides, the bad sides. You learn a lot from his character. The positive side is you must have passion. You must not be afraid of obstacles in your life. You must be creative. You must believe in your conviction and pursue it. As he said, that do not live other people's life because life is short. The bad side is that, and you also learn from the bad side, and that is that, you know, you have to be more responsible as a person in society. you need to care more about your family. And you need to be more honest with your colleagues and your friends. If those negative characters of Steve Jobs could have been corrected, then he would have a Superman.
Right.
But, you know, human being is a human being.
Yeah.
You cannot force him to change, and it's too late now.
Yeah. So a lot to learn from this book.
A lot to learn. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Kun Sutichai, for coming to my program.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Hope to have you with us again sometime.
Okay, sure.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
You're welcome.